They treated her backyard like a public resort. But what they didn't know was that this homeowner was done being a victim, and she was about to flip their entire world upside down. Most people dream of a peaceful home, a quiet backyard, and a sparkling pool to unwind after long days. But for Emily Carter, her backyard had become the battleground of a problem she never invited. At first, it had been an annoyance. Minor disturbances, footsteps behind her fence, the occasional splash when she knew no one in her family was swimming. She had ignored it. She thought it would stop, but she didn't know then that the kids who had discovered her pool weren't just bored teenagers. They were addicted to the thrill of trespassing, pushed on by social media dares, fueled by peer pressure, and encouraged by a boy who called himself their fearless leader. His name, Derek Woods. 16, loud, cocky, and the self-proclaimed pool pirate on TikTok. It started with harmless clips. Found a free pool in the neighborhood. Day 3 of chilling in Karen's pool. Emily didn't know she was the Karen he referred to. Not yet. The real escalation began the day she came home from a double shift at the hospital. Exhausted, hungry, and longing for silence, she walked toward her back window to check if she had left the garden lights on. Her jaw dropped. 8 teenagers splashed in her pool, loud music blaring from a Bluetooth speaker, pizza boxes on her patio table, towels dumped on her lawn, muddy footprints across the grass. One girl had climbed onto her float chair and was posing for selfies like she owned the place. Emily stepped outside. Nobody noticed her. Nobody cared. And then she heard it, the line that made her blood boil. Derek, recording himself, shouted, "Welcome back, guys. Day 12 of sneaking into Karen's pool. Smash that like button." The group cheered. Emily wasn't a confrontational woman by nature, but something inside her snapped that day. She walked forward, grabbed the speaker, and unplugged it. The entire group turned. Derek stared at her, unimpressed. "Oh, look," he smirked. "The Karen has arrived." The others laughed, but Emily didn't yell. Didn't ask them to leave. Didn't mention police. She simply whispered, calm and chilling, "Enjoy your last trespass." Then she turned, went inside, and locked her door. Behind that locked door, she didn't cry. She planned. Emily spent the night watching Derek's uploaded videos, scrolling through comments, checking the timestamps he proudly left in captions. He documented everything. The hours they came, the route they took, the gap in the fence they slipped through. He practically handed her everything she needed. But Emily wasn't a revenge-driven person. She didn't want them arrested or ruining their futures with a criminal record. What she wanted was justice, in a way no court could give. So she made one call. To a woman known in the neighborhood for dealing with entitled teens better than any authority ever could. Sarah Chen, former HOA security consultant, former military protocol trainer, a woman whose calm tone could make grown men rethink their life choices. When Emily explained everything, Sarah didn't blink. "They have no idea how lucky they are you called me," she said. "Teenagers like them don't need punishment. They need correction, direction, a lesson that stays for life." Emily exhaled shakily. "So, you'll help?" Sarah gave a small, dangerous smile. "Oh, I'll do more than help. I'll end this." Over the next week, Sarah visited Emily's house every evening. They studied the kids' patterns. Time, direction, entry point, how long they stayed, even which ones were followers and which were instigators. Then they prepared the yard, new concealed cameras, placed at angles even adults wouldn't detect, motion-triggered lights, a discreet auto lock installed on the fence gate, a sound-triggered alert system. The trap didn't rely on force. It relied on humiliation, reality check, and accountability. Tuesday came. The perfect day. Derek always came on Tuesdays. Sure enough, just past 5 p.m., 3 figures appeared behind the fence. Derek, his best friend Kyle, and a girl named Chloe. They whispered, laughed, checked their phones, then slipped through the familiar gap. They didn't bother to whisper once they reached the pool. Derek cannonballed. Kyle drank soda from Emily's fridge. Chloe set up her tripod for a TikTok dance. That's when the gate locked behind them. The lights blazed on. Every camera activated. The house door opened. Emily stepped out, but all eyes locked on the woman next to her. Arms crossed back straight, expression unreadable. Sarah Chen. Derek sank into the water like it would hide him. Kyle whispered, "Bro, we're screwed." Sarah's voice cut through the yard. "Out of the pool, now." The teens obeyed instantly. Emily looked at them, tired, disappointed, but firm. "You stole my peace. You damaged my property, and you treated my home like a playground. But instead of ruining your futures," Sarah stepped forward, "we're going to fix your character." The teens exchanged horrified glances. Derek swallowed. What? What does that mean?" Sarah smiled. Calm, terrifying. "It means your real punishment starts tomorrow." The teens thought getting caught was the end of their punishment. But Sarah and Emily had only just begun. What came next would change the boys more than any police report ever could. The next morning, Derek, Kyle, and Chloe arrived at the community center exactly at 9 a.m. Not because they wanted to, but because Sarah had texted all their parents none of the teens had slept properly. They expected lectures, maybe a cleanup duty, maybe a forced apology. But when they walked inside and saw Sarah Chen standing in front of 3 folders labeled with their names, they realized this was something entirely different. Sarah didn't smile, didn't raise her voice. Her tone was calm, almost too calm. "Your punishment," she said, "will last 1 month, 30 days, and every task will match your attitude, your behavior, and your level of disrespect." She lifted Derek's folder first. Derek Woods, the leader, the instigator, the one who encouraged the trespassing and recorded it. "Your punishment will be service at the Willow Creek Women's Shelter." Derek blinked. Women's shelter? Why?" "Because you think everything exists for your entertainment," Sarah replied. "Now you'll see what real problems look like. You'll see pain, survival, fear, and strength." He opened his mouth to argue, but the look Sarah gave him made his words die in his throat. Next, she opened Kyle's folder. Kyle Brown, smart, clever, always planning the routes, always thinking he wouldn't get caught. "Your punishment will be at the Oak Ridge Assisted Living Center." Kyle stiffened. "Old people? Seriously? You'll help them walk, eat, move, clean. You'll learn patience, respect, humility." Kyle swallowed hard. He already hated it. Then Sarah opened the 3rd folder. And finally, Chloe Martinez, the influencer, the one who encouraged the trespassing, posted it online and made it a trend. "Your punishment is teaching workshops to 7th graders at the community school." Chloe frowned. "Teaching? About what?" "Peer pressure, boundaries, consequences, everything you violated." Chloe crossed her arms. "I'm not a teacher." "You don't have to be," Sarah replied. "You just have to be honest." Each teen was given a schedule, a strict one. Monday to Friday, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Sunday. Rest day, but only if Sarah approved their weekly progress. They thought she was exaggerating. She wasn't. Derek walked into the shelter expecting sadness, but nothing prepared him for the raw human stories he heard. Women with bruises, women holding babies, women rebuilding shattered lives. He sorted donations, cleaned floors, organized food shelves. He hoped no one would talk to him, but they did. One woman said, "You remind me of my son before he changed." Another whispered, "Be better. Don't grow into someone people fear." Every sentence felt like a punch to Derek's chest. For the first time, he understood that sneaking into a pool was the least of the world's problems. Kyle's assignment was physically exhausting. His first task was helping Mr. Donovan, a retired firefighter, reorganize his room. The old man was strict, sharp, and observant. "You young folks have everything," he said, "but no discipline, no patience. That's why you do stupid things." Kyle didn't answer, but deep inside he felt the truth of it. Changing sheets, helping residents walk, serving meals. It humbled him in ways he didn't know he needed. He learned how fragile people could be, and how lucky he was to be young, healthy, and strong. Chloe walked into her classroom with attitude, but everything changed when she saw the kids. Some shy, some insecure, some struggling socially just like she once did. As she talked about peer pressure, the kids listened. Deeply, one girl approached her afterward and said, "I follow my friends even when I don't want to. How do I stop?" For the first time in a long time, Chloe felt responsible, like she mattered in a real way, not just through likes and comments. Her videos had encouraged bad behavior, but here, her words were helping kids avoid it. Sarah wasn't gentle. She monitored everything: daily check-ins, surprise visits, progress evaluations. The teens weren't just completing tasks. They were maturing, growing, evolving. They talked less arrogantly, walked more respectfully, made eye contact, stopped complaining. Even Emily noticed the difference. She saw Derek greet neighbors politely, saw Kyle help someone carry groceries, heard from a teacher that Chloe was inspiring shy girls to make better choices. But Sarah wasn't finished. On the last Saturday of the month, Sarah gathered all three teens in Emily's backyard. "This," she said, "is the final part of your punishment, the part where you repair what you damaged." Each received a detailed list: clean the entire backyard, power wash the patio, repaint the railings, replace Emily's trampled plants, fix the broken fence section they used, deep clean the pool, remove stains, restore the lawn, and lastly, apologize sincerely. It took them 9 hours. Sweat, exhaustion, sunburn, everything. But by the end, Emily's backyard looked better than it had in years. Derek stepped forward, voice trembling. "Ms. Carter, I'm sorry for everything. We treated your home like a joke, and we were wrong." Kyle nodded. "We thought it was harmless. We didn't think." Chloe's eyes were glossy. "We embarrassed you. Online. I'm really sorry." Emily's eyes softened. "I didn't want revenge. I wanted you to understand the weight of your choices." Sarah folded her arms but smiled. Finally, "And you did." Weeks later, Emily heard a knock on her door. It was Derek, Kyle, and Chloe. Not sneaking, not laughing, but holding gardening tools. Derek smiled nervously. We were wondering if you need your lawn mowed, free of charge." Emily laughed, not because she was amused, but because she knew the lesson had truly worked. Sometimes the best punishment is transformation.